Yeah. Proper 12 Irish whiskey. What's up, everybody? We're doing it big tonight. We're going to be doing a Proper 12 Irish whiskey review. Just like I said I would, right out of the freezer, fresh. I'm going to bring my boy Jonathan in. He's the Casual Sunday podcast. It's coming in now. Trying it. And guys, I don't drink.
All right, look.
There he is.
First off, you never put whiskey in a freezer.
You know?
No. WhiskeyCasual.com.
I hardly drink whiskey. I actually hate it. My friend Gething, who's watching right now, dropped it off because I told him I haven't tried it yet. Put it right in the freezer thinking that's what you're supposed to do. And I thought it was cool.
Although, from what I've heard, that stuff's horrible.
Yeah, well, that's what I've heard as well. And I don't know where I put my cup. You know what? I'm just going to drink right out of the bottle.
Right out of the bottle.
I brought a cup, and I don't know where I put it. So I'm going to do the review. Guys, real quick, before I try this, please go to my page. It's in my bio. My good friend Shane, he was a Marine Corps veteran, combat vet. He served in Afghanistan, did one tour over there. He's my best friend. We grew up together. He's currently a first responder, and he was just 2 weeks ago diagnosed with stage 3 colon cancer. And it came out of nowhere. He was at work, started feeling stomach pains, ended up going to the hospital to find out that he has stage 3 cancer. So he's out of work right now. He's not getting paid. And it would just mean a lot to me, guys, if you could just, even if you share it to whoever or just get the word out, even $1, just something to help him out. He's a great guy. He's a combat vet. He's served the country. So
let's take care of our vets, man. Yeah,
absolutely. So, all right. So now on to business. I am going to take a swig of this. But like I said, I couldn't even tell you the last time I drank whiskey. So
that's like freezing dog shit.
Yeah. Oh man, you know what? I don't even like it. All right, I can smell it already.
It's like gasoline.
All right, guys, you ready?
Proper 12
for the Casual Sunday podcast. For my friend Shane.
There you go.
Don't buy it. Don't buy it. Who actually drinks this stuff? Does anybody here actually fucking buy this stuff and enjoy it?
Dude, it's gross, bro.
I'm going to take one more sip.
I can't stop.
It has an awful flavor to it.
It's not great.
All right, so we got that out of the way. I'll be drunk. After that 2 swigs I just took, I'll be drunk in 10 minutes. So
I love it. Last night I'm watching the fights, and I text Rob. I was like, "You watching the fights tonight?" He says, "Yeah, but I missed the first couple." He goes, "I'm watching Mulan."
And you know what, guys? I'll do a quick Mulan review. Mulan is awesome. I loved it. Just so you guys know, I did. I missed about like half the card last night because I was watching Mulan. So I guess if that makes me a casual, then fine.
No, not at all.
All right. So I figured we'd start right off. Big, you don't chug whiskey. That's my buddy that gave it to me, Gething. Thank you, man. I don't know what to do. I'm nervous trying to do this fucking review. It was terrible. All right. So the big news that I want to start with was the BMF rematch.
Yeah.
Very odd. I wasn't expecting it. So what do you think? What do you think about that?
I think I kind of told you about this when that came out. You sent it to me and I texted you back. Look, man, I think, Masvidal can't risk another loss right now. I think, Nate Diaz is no pushover, but I think he needs a win. It's a money fight for him. I think if he goes in there, you can't stop. You like it now.
So bad. Go ahead.
Look, I think if he gets in the ring with somebody like Leon Edwards and Leon beats his ass, I think Masvidal's hype train comes to a screeching halt. So I think he needs a win. He needs a win bad. And, you know, look, it's a high-profile fight. I think there'll be a lot of eyes on it. And based on what he did to him last time, I think, you know, he's expecting the same result. That said, I also think, you know, the fight could be very different if Nate doesn't get that cut early on. You know, who knows what would happen if that goes, you know, into 4 and 5. So,
yeah. You know, and I was wondering, actually, now that you mentioned that, because I know he was saying he was going to get surgery. His brother Nick had to get the exact same surgery because they both just break. I mean, they've taken such beatings in their, you know. So I wonder if he actually got that surgery. He's been off for now over a year, so that's interesting. But or not a year yet, almost a year.
yeah.
So, but yeah, you know, and it could be a different fight. I mean, a lot of people are saying that Diaz was just getting started. And he was I mean, he always has some excuses, but he was also saying that his training camp didn't go the way it was supposed to. He got injured. He wasn't able to train the proper way. So, you know, I wanted to see the rematch just because it got cut short. And I don't think Masvidal was going to get tired, but I think he was going to be able to keep up that same pace for the last 2 rounds. So I think it would have been interesting just to see I think Masvidal was still going to win, but it would have been interesting to see if he did fade, you know. So this may answer the question, but to your point, you know, this is a smart move for Masvidal.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to worry about losing so much. And even if he does lose, that just makes
a trilogy
even bigger. Yeah, it's a trilogy. So he's got nothing to lose. It was very smart for him to go this route. Leon Edwards doesn't have that mainstream name. So if he loses to him, gone. Jorge Masvidal hype train is no more. He lost some guy named Leon Edwards. So for the mainstream fans, you know, so very smart move, and that's going to bring a lot of attention to. I mean, that should be a 5-round fight. I mean, it's a championship technically, you know.
Yeah, and I wonder like what's going to be on board for Leon now. I mean, like Masvidal's not fighting him; he's going to fight Nate. Colby's fighting Woodley. I would assume that if Nate wins, he would fight the winner of that fight.
Right.
Or I'm sorry, or Masvidal. If Masvidal wins, he'd fight the winner of Colby Woodley. So it's like, dude, who is Leon gonna fight? Like, he's just kind of in this limbo right now.
Yeah, it's really weird. You know, and I know what it is. It's like,
Woodley.
What's that?
Unless Leon fights the winner of Colby versus Tyron.
Yeah, now that I could see, you know. Although I don't know though, because for them, now that's a big fight. That's worth Jorge Masvidal to get in there. And if he loses, it's not. It's like, okay, you lost against, you know, people that everybody knows who Colby and Tyron Woodley are. Yeah. So, you know, I don't know. Leon Edwards is kind of left out in the loop. It's like Chael Sonnen. Where does this leave for Leon Edwards? Where does he fit into all this? You know?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. He's like left out, and you know he's on a huge winning streak. What is it, like 8 or 9 wins in a row he's on, or something like that?
I mean, dude, he also hasn't fought since July of 2019.
Exactly. Yeah. So, and I mean, his last loss was to Kamaru Usman, and you know, I mean, he's definitely in the top contender. It's just I don't know who the hell he's going to fight. I mean, if he has to sit out even longer, that's not good, you know, because he's
on a big win streak, but he hasn't been fighting like marquee fighters, you know.
Exactly, and that too, right?
Yeah, so, I wonder, like, I mean, who knows? Maybe he fights Masvidal. Masvidal fucking rips him, you know?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and Masvidal wants to get back in there for that title shot, so I think he's going to take whatever he's got to do to get there, you know.
Think?
I think, you know, I think for a couple reasons, you know, I think one of them is money. You know what I'm saying? I think that's incentive for him, and plus he's been doing this so long that I think it's like you want to finally get some sort of. I mean, I don't think he cared about it in his earlier career, but I think when it's like he almost had a taste of it, and you know it was a 6 days notice and all these different things. But you know he's probably thinking to himself, I would think at least, that if I had the full training camp, I could have beat him. I went the distance on 6 days. I agree with you. I know. But I think he may be in his own head.
Yeah.
It seems that way. You know what I mean? And who knows though? You know. He is looking at fighting Nate Diaz, which makes if you're really looking at the rankings, it makes no sense. Nate Diaz is like 13 or something like.
Right, a prize fighter where he's like, you know, he's fighting, you know, for big paydays, and it's not for.
Yeah.
You know.
It doesn't put you back into title contention fighting Nate Diaz. So, you know, maybe he's not looking to get back in there. Maybe he said, "Fuck it, I'm just looking at getting some money right now." You know.
Yeah, I think a win over Nate, you know, puts him, you know, keeps him relevant, keeps his name at the top of people's lists. He keeps him in the public eye.
Right.
It's a big profile fight, and you know, I'd be interested to see who he fights after that. Because I mean, maybe they're setting it up. You know, we'll talk about this in a bit, but you know, maybe if he fights Colby, I mean, that's another another big one where they hate each other, you know?
Massive. Yeah. You know, I mean, and that's huge. And I think Colby would destroy him, you know. But
Destroy him, huh?
yeah. Yeah.
So
I think it would be, you know, I look at him, so he's so similar to Usman in a sense, you know. So I feel like it would just be a similar fight. He's gonna take him down and hold him there for 5 rounds, you know. And
yeah,
the thing with Masvidal, he's good at not getting beat up while he's on the ground. So he's got good defensive grappling where he'll be able to hold you there until the ref stands you up or the end of the round. But I think he's not gonna. He just doesn't have. It's his bad style for Masvidal.
Yeah, a bad stylistic matchup. And I think, you know, if Colby was able to stand in there and trade blows with Usman, who I think has a lot more power than Masvidal, I think Masvidal is going to be able to drop Colby. You know, it took Usman 5 rounds to really do some damage standing up. So I don't see Masvidal knocking him out. And if it goes to the round,
and that was a stand-up brawl, and it took him 5 rounds to do it.
Yeah.
It won't be a 5-round brawl when it's him against Masvidal. He's going to be taking him down. They didn't even shoot for a takedown in that entire fight, you know. So you have to imagine 5 rounds of a just kickboxing match it took for him to finally get him down. I don't see Masvidal ever being able to find that, especially when he's getting taken down left and right, you know. So
I agree.
Okay, so Overeem last night, his 66th fight, MMA fight. Started MMA in 1999. Started kickboxing in 1997. I had a bunch of people message me like, he said 97. Yeah, he started kickboxing in 97.
Yeah.
So he's 40 years old, and he is dominating. And you know what I mean? Pretty much. Maybe at the very least, he's maybe not dominating, but you know what it is he just shows that veteran experience.
100%.
He'll just hold on. And then once you gas out or you try, he'll find a way to win. And it's unbelievable to see it going on, you know?
Dude, we were texting last night. Sakai was throwing fucking leather, bro.
Bombs.
Has heavy hands and couldn't put him away.
Yep.
And like I said, you know, when I texted you, I was like, I think, you know, I go, Sakai's got fucking cinder blocks his hands. I go, but I wonder if the experience is going to come in. And sure enough, it was just, you know, a game of attrition. And, you know, as the fight went on later rounds, you know, Overeem's just, his experience took over, you know?
And it was crazy to see him going for those takedowns, and oh my God, those elbows and the ground and pound he was laying down. He looked like Curtis Blades almost. With Curtis Blades,
dude, those elbows, he hit him with those 3 elbows. I was like, oh, oh.
So it was, you know, for starting off as a kickboxer, he was a hell of a grappler towards the end of the fight. You know what I mean? He was
great.
Rolling every grappling position. So. It's just so cool to see him. I really love Overeem. You know, it's funny. Did you ever see how much he gets paid? Overeem? Yeah. He's one of the top UFC salaries, like, ever.
Yeah. I mean, he's one of the most recognizable names. I mean, you think about what he did in you know, K1 and was it Strikeforce? No, he did K1.
Yeah, I think he was in Strikeforce. Yeah, he was in Strikeforce too.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I mean, it's just crazy to see because he was getting paid really like up there with like John Jones. Like the thing was he was never a champion, so that's why I thought it was odd. But when you look at like top earnings, he's like number 4 or something like that. Like he's right up there. Yeah,
he's been around the block, man. He's got literally everyone there is to fight. You know.
Yeah, beat them, lost to them, doesn't matter. You know what I mean? He just gets right back in there 3 months later and fights again.
Wait, did he ever fight Velasquez?
I don't.
Any of our viewers, did Overeem ever fight Cain Velasquez?
I can't remember. Anybody know?
He did, actually. That might be like one of the only guys he didn't fight.
Yeah, out of everybody, right.
Yeah.
Fought Brock Lesnar. I was just watching that fight the other day.
He whooped Brock's ass, dude.
They came in, just roided out of their minds, and it was awesome. Yeah.
Juice fest.
Yeah. But, you know, to add to that, though, the heavyweight division is stacked right now because you've got Blades versus Lewis is most likely going to be the next one, which is massive, you know. You've got Stipe versus Ngannou, which is going to be a great rematch. I'd love to see what Francis can do.
Are they going to make that fight happen?
Francis versus Stipe?
Yeah, or do you think Jones is going to get the title shot?
You know, if in my opinion, I was actually arguing with my friend who got me the whiskey. I think John Jones is a number 1 contender at heavyweight. I
don't know. Just based on his pedigree?
I think, you know, this was my point, I guess, like any champion who's defended their title, I feel is a #1 contender in the above or below division. Maybe I'm being a casual, but I feel like
Interesting.
yeah, like if you've defended your title, you should have the option to move up if you choose to. You know, at least.
So you think that Usman should get a title shot at 185 if he moved up?
Yes, over anybody else.
Wow. Straight
to the top. You know, and that's just my crazy opinion. But I also look at it maybe just because I grew up on boxing, and that's kind of the way they did it there. It's always champion versus champion. You know, you never seen them go to a different weight class and have to work their way up. So maybe that's just my thinking on it. But I just feel like if you've become a champion in a weight class, and that's what my friend was saying, it's a different weight class. So how could see he didn't fight anyone at heavyweight? That's him right there. But I feel like it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? If in a certain weight class, and at the very least, not like the Conor McGregor thing, he became champ and went right up after the Nate Diaz thing, but that was different, But like that, I don't agree with because he never defended the featherweight title. But I believe everybody else that went up defended it. I know Cejudo, right? How many have there been? 4 double champs.
Nunez, DC, Cejudo, and Conor.
Right, and other than Conor, which is he's a fluke. Other than Conor, though, they've all
Conor has 0 title defenses. Conor's retired more times than he's defended his title.
Yes, yeah, I know. So, he didn't really deserve it, but he had the name recognition and stuff. But everybody else, I believe they defended their title at least once. So I feel like it was fair for them to move right into a title fight.
But so do you think they would make that John Jones fight over the Ngannou fight?
Oh, well, I think they asked Dana that, and he said no. I believe he was saying that Francis is next. And hype train behind him as well, so I don't blame them for that. So I would imagine Jones is going to sit out for a little bit. I mean, so I was looking at it. The only other person he could really fight that's in that top 5 would be Overeem, John Jones versus Overeem, and that would the winner. Yeah,
dude, it's just like when you see Overeem in that ring, Jones is not that big.
No,
those are big motherfuckers, dude.
Skinny legs.
What was he last night? Like 250?
Yeah. Like, I mean, I would imagine Jones would come in at 225, 230 once it's all said and done. Maybe, you know what I mean? So I don't think he'd be too far off. Like Stipe fights in the 230 range, 237 or something.
Yeah, but he's dropping to get there, whereas Jones has to gain weight to get there.
Right. Yeah, exactly. He wouldn't even have to. Right. So it's hard to say, like, I feel like his skill is enough to be able to hold his own at any weight class. I mean, well, it's, up to 265, So I think he's good enough. And I think he's proven himself. He's defended the title so many times that he should get an automatic title shot. So it would just be weird for him.
Yeah, look, I think, honestly, either Stipe fighting Ngannou or Jones, there's 2 great fights,
Absolutely. Yeah, and I wouldn't be mad at either one. If they chose whichever, I get it. But I'm pretty sure Dana said no, he wants Francis in there. Jones probably have to sit out. You'll have Blades versus Lewis. But the winner of that should get a title shot. I don't know. It's all fucked up. The heavyweight division stacked for like the first.
It's real stacked. I'm interested to see what Jones does when he moves up. Like, I just want to how he reacts to like getting hit for the first time by a heavyweight, Because I mean, Reyes wobbled him and that's at 205. So it's like I can't imagine like we talked about this last time. Stipe dropped Verdum like backpedaling with the right hand.
Right.
Like,
yeah,
the bunkers down and connects. I don't know what would happen. Like I'm eager to see how Jones reacts to the strength.
Well, and it's I guess to add to your point, it's not like you're moving up from 145 to 155. You're moving up, what is it, 60 pounds up to?
Yeah.
And then those guys are dropping from that. So you're 100% right. You have to think the amount of power coming from those guys isn't just a normal weight class going up, and that's why I give it to DC so much that he was able to go up.
Yeah, light heavyweight to heavyweight is
massive.
Yeah.
So I get why it is such a big deal, But I think Jones, I can see him becoming the heavyweight champion, and who knows, holding it for a little bit, maybe.
I don't see him winning.
Maybe.
I see him doing it.
I'd like to see John Jones get knocked out, but I like John Jones now.
It's weird. I think that stylistically Stipe is a better matchup for him than anybody else. I think, like, I don't think he wants to go in there against Ngannou or Overeem. You know?
You know what? I feel like, you know what? Really? Oh,
Yeah.
I feel like I feel like he would destroy Ngannou. Is that crazy?
Yes. 100.
I feel like he would I don't know. Maybe I'm just crazy. I just think.
When's the last time Jones knocked anybody out?
True. Knock somebody out. Yeah. Okay.
And to go and not only that, dude, if he's gonna be packing on all that extra weight, all that extra muscle, that affects your gas tank going up. So it's like, these guys are cutting weight to go 5 rounds, and at 250, if he's putting on 30 to 40 pounds, like, how is his gas tank gonna be too? It's like, I don't know.
I'm just thinking of his grappling, but he may not be. Ngannou is so fucking strong. He's scary. Seriously, he's scary, man. Just looking at him, he's just all muscle. It's like all just fucking pure testosterone. So, I don't know, man. Maybe you're right. Because if you saw the DC versus Derek Lewis fight, I mean, that guy is so big. He was able to just literally just stand up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And this is an Olympic wrestler, and he had a hard time keeping him down at certain points. He would literally just no technique at all, just get up. So with Jones and Ngannou, yeah, for sure, that could definitely happen.
I'm stoked, man. It's gonna happen sooner than later.
Yeah. All right. So moving on to Michael Pereira. I just wanted to hit him real quick with
Michel Pereira.
Yeah.
Man, what a showboat. But I'll tell you what, man. First off, he's a fucking big welterweight.
Big. Yeah.
Big. Very athletic.
Yep.
But I don't like his style. I mean, he has a very unique style, but it's like when he was fighting last night, he put his hands behind his back. I was like, kick him in the fucking head. I was like rooting for him to be decapitated.
Yeah.
I hate that shit, man.
It's fan friendly and it brings attention, and I get why he's doing it. And I mean, well, technically he's always done it. I've seen him even in fights before he was in the UFC flipping around, and he jumped on a guy's head, a backflip on a guy's head.
He tried it again last night too. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's out of his mind, but I like his style, and then he ended up in a way. Like, I like it, but like you said, it gets ridiculous. But
he's good. Like, who was his last? I mean, he lost a fight, like the fight before this one, I think, didn't he?
Yeah, that was Diego Sanchez, and he was winning, and he hit him with an illegal knee, and Diego Sanchez was like, "Will I win if I get disqualified?" And they're like, "Yeah." So he's like, "All right, disqualified."
Well, and then before that, remember he fought that little white dude who was like a huge underdog, and Pereira lost.
Oh, really? Oh, I forgot about that. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
he's a kickboxer, and
really?
like a massive underdog. And Pereira was like showboating and doing the flip kicks and all that stuff. And this guy fucking took him the distance and won.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. You know what? That does ring a bell a little bit. Yeah. Well, like you said, as long as you're winning and doing that, but if you're losing, then it's just stupid. You know what I mean? Like, exactly. He called out Jorge Masvidal. It's stupid because Jorge Masvidal basically has a fight lined up, or if anybody, it's definitely not him. He's not even a ranked welterweight.
No, Pereira just. I guess you gotta fucking aim for the top, but dude, he's not fighting anyone up there. He's not getting like top 5.
What I like about it,
fight Wonder Boy. That would be a great matchup stylistically.
Yeah, well, and Wonder Boy is number 5 or 6, so that would even be a big jump for him,
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what was I gonna say? Oh, that because they were saying that usually everybody's calling out Conor McGregor. You don't hear it anymore. People are calling out Jorge Masvidal. So I feel like that was an interesting point. I think it was Jorge Masvidal's coach tweeted that. I thought that was an interesting perspective.
I want to know my reasoning for that. My opinion on that is
that
I think fighters realize that Masvidal is not as good as he thinks he is.
I
don't think I think Masvidal is a great fighter. Don't get me wrong. He's a tough motherfucker, but I don't think he is like the number 2 or number 3. I think Colby beats him. Usman beat him. Like I think Leon beats him, and I think people are calling him out because it's name recognition. It's all eyes will be on the fight, and I don't think it's that it's not like calling out Usman. Like I think Masvidal is like there's a lot of people who could beat him.
Yeah, yeah. So it's actually a smart call out technically.
Yeah,
he's not Kamaru Usman, that's for sure.
Wait, Owens bit Izzy versus Joanna by submission.
Yeah. Or I believe she would beat him by that flying armbar. Okay, so Oh, and he did slap the shit out of the, what was his name, Zalim or whatever. Because during the face-off, he like kind of slapped him. So I don't know if you remember this, Pereira or whatever, just fucking open hand, just
the fight, yeah,
yeah, that just because he did it to him first, and okay, so next week we've got 2 fights on the card. Did you know that?
Yeah. Wait, who's the second one? It's Waterson and Hill, and
I don't even do it. 2 featherweights. I don't even know who the fuck they are, man. I'm a casual. I didn't know their names. So if you guys are, if they're, you know what I mean? I don't know.
yeah. I like Waterson in this fight.
Yeah.
I like Hill, but like Hill, her last fight she didn't really impress me a whole lot. I think she has really good movement, but I think she's hesitant to pull the trigger. She's like afraid to let her hands go.
Right.
I think Waterson likes to get in there and really fucking, mix it up. She's a scrapper. So yeah, I like Waterson in that one.
I got to give them credit because that was supposed to be a 3-round fight, and they stepped up because of the COVID with Glover Teixeira, and the Thiago Santos fight got canceled. So I give them a lot of credit for that. And if you notice, no men do that ever. You know what I mean? So I give the women credit because on a week or 2 notice, they stepped up to a 5-round fight. Now they were both Invicta world champions too, so they've both have experience in 5-round fights as well. But I just think just on 1 or 2 week notice, they were able to step up is amazing.
Yeah. And that's a mental block. That's a mental thing for you too. If you're training for a 3-round fight and all of a sudden you have to go an extra 10 minutes,
massive.
You start questioning if you trained hard enough, and
absolutely. And they're both going to be doing it, and it's incredible that they both didn't even hesitate to step up. It's rare, especially on a week's notice. It's crazy.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so the following week after that is Colby versus Woodley. I'm looking forward to this one. Finally,
I can't see Woodley winning it. Although you never know which Woodley we're gonna get. If we get Woodley out there who's not like hesitant and not afraid to fucking throw his hands, he's just like been really like he's like not throwing, like he used to. I think if we get old Woodley in there, I think he has knockout power. But I mean, I can see Colby doing exactly what Usman did to him, and just like, that pressure, that constant pace, dragging him down, holding him down, We'll see. I mean, Woodley's a great wrestler too.
It's a bad matchup for Woodley, actually, which is odd because he's a wrestler and all that. You would think it would be a perfect matchup, but Woodley seems to do better against strikers. For whatever, because he could just throw that overhand. And with a striker, they're looking for you to make mistakes. And Woodley doesn't really make them. He just stands there and looks for an opening, and then he'll blast you with the overhand. It doesn't seem to work that well with guys that grew up grappling because they're more or less brawlers as well. So they can almost kind of see it coming, maybe. I don't know.
He was a collegiate wrestler, wasn't he?
Who's that?
Woodley.
Woodley, Usman, and Colby were all either Division I or Division II champions. So they're all top-level grapplers. I just think that big overhand, for whatever reason, he can't get it off because they're just peppering them and then taking them down. Usman, but when he's up against somebody like Darren Till, who's dancing around looking for an opening, he throws that. It works, So it's just a weird. You would think it wouldn't be this way, but it just seems to be. Robbie Lawler is very similar in a sense too. He does not do well against grapplers like that.
Yeah, fucking Colby eviscerated him.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it'll be the same thing, Colby versus Tyron. I think it's going to be the exact same fight. Takedown, peppered with punches. Takedown, peppered with 5. And I think he'll go the distance for whatever reason. Nobody can finish him, But he'll just lose every round.
We'll see. I don't think Colby's going to finish him, but I think he's going to look to make a statement and really just frustrate him and really fuck with him mentally.
Yeah, he should. He needs to, Colby, because I know he wants to get back in the title shot, so he needs to make a statement with this fight. All right, so the last thing I have on our agenda, UFC 253 is the following week. Obviously, we've got the Israel Adesanya versus Paulo Costa. Just a quick pre-fight analysis.
I've always said from the beginning, I think Israel's going to go back to his kickboxing days. I think he's going to fight him at range. I think he's going to be looking to land, body kicks. I think he's going to, set up the head kick. Look for Israel to win on the feet. I think he's really going to go back to picking him apart and just wearing him down with strikes over the full 5. I don't think he's going to finish him, but I think he's going to piece up Costa pretty bad.
I agree.
I mean, Costa's good.
Mm-hmm.
He's just a bull, you know.
Yep.
I think technically Israel is a much more dynamic striker, and I just think he's gonna, like I said, he's gonna use his reach. He's gonna keep, you know, his long legs and just stick and move, stick and move, stick and move the entire fight.
It's a perfect stylistic matchup for Israel Adesanya. Somebody that presses forward and just throws bombs. All he's got to do is look for the opening, find his mistakes, look for what he's doing wrong, and he's not going to be like Yoel standing there and not showing any mistakes, any weaknesses. He's going to be showing his weaknesses because that's how he is. He just throws one, like you said, he's a bull, and that's the perfect stylistic matchup for Israel Adesanya.
100%.
I wouldn't be surprised if he connects and rocks him. That guy is fucking massive. You know what I mean? You can't put it past that puncher's chance, but I agree. I think it's going to be Adesanya by decision.
I think, yeah, I'm liking Adesanya by decision. I do think, and I will say this, I think Costa's going to get pretty busted up. I look for, I think his face is going to look like he went through the meat grinder.
I think he's going to run into some shots he didn't see coming, stuff like that. He's going to, you know what I mean? He's going to get countered, and a lot of those things, those are the ones that you don't see them coming.
Yep.
Yeah, I think he's going to look pretty ugly by the end of it.
And I would not be surprised if Izzy drops him, but I think even if Izzy drops him, I think he's going to stand it back up. I don't think he's going to try and force the finish. I see him, like, you know, setting up that head kick. I see him like the way he did with Silva, like set up that head kick, smack him with the head kick. And even if Costa goes down, I think, you know, he's going to automatically fucking turtle shell. He's going to go on his back and look for the, you know, BJJ. And I think he's going to stand it back up.
Yep. All right, so the last one, they added Dominic Reyes versus Jan Blachowicz for the light heavyweight title. Now, I wanted to make a point here. Since 2011, the light heavyweight champion has either been John Jones or Daniel Cormier. Since 2011, almost 10 years. Insane. So, so for the first time since then, everybody seems like Dominic Reyes in this fight.
Yeah, I think Reyes is going to run away with it, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think Jan Blachowicz is like, look, he's a good Polish boy. He got heavy hands.
Hell yeah.
But I just think, I mean, Reyes is a fucking athlete, dude. I think he's legit. And I mean, it's arguable that he beat John Jones.
Yeah, absolutely. It's arguable.
I think he's the best light heavyweight there is right now. I
agree. Yep. Yeah, I think that's where he really proved himself, because it was a close fight. I wasn't mad at the decision, but it could have definitely went in Reyes' favor, and I would have been just as happy with it. I mean, I was rooting for him, obviously, but yeah, I think Jan's a big striker, and I think that'll play almost similar. He's going to fall right into Reyes' traps, and I think he'll end up winning. And I don't know if he'll end up. That might go to the decision as well, maybe.
Yeah, like Reyes has heavy fucking hands too. I mean, I don't think it goes to decision. I think Reyes finishes him, to be honest.
Yeah, maybe you're right. 5 rounds with 2 heavy hitters. That probably is.
I think Reyes finishes him in, like, I'd say like 3 or 4.
Yeah, you're right.
It's going to be a great fight, though. I mean, they're going to be fucking trying to kill each other.
That card is amazing. I'm really looking forward to that one. So,
what else is on the card? It's Izzy and Costa, Reyes and.
I didn't write it down. I forget. I know it's a pretty good card, though. I forgot to write down the rest of the fights, but. Got it.
So, awesome, Scooter.
So I'm going to put this back in the freezer. I'll take one more swig for you guys.
One more. Pour a little out for your homies.
Don't do it up.
Car. You can start your car with.
Yeah. All right, guys.
All right. Take it easy, everybody. Thanks for tuning in.
All right. Thanks, guys.